Alright everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video I'm going to discuss a new proof of work token meant to emulate Bitcoin, but this has been built on Solana. I'll give you a rundown of this project, we'll discuss tokenomics, we'll discuss the difficulty adjustments, and we'll finish off on my price targets and discuss, can this do 100x? Let's talk about it. So what is OR? OR is basically a digital currency that you can mine from anywhere, at home or on your phone. OR launched only 15 days ago on the Solana network as part of an experimental hackathon project, and it's the first proof of work token that's been built on Solana. This is basically Bitcoin as a smart contract on Solana. So it uses novel proof of work algorithms, however, it's a token and it's on Solana. Since this project released in the past few weeks, it grew to become the most used program on Solana by transaction count. And you can see this in a visual over on June. You can see Radium took up about 19% of the total transactions. Jupiter took up about 5% of the total transactions, so together they summate about 23% of the total transactions. And OR alone did 22.3% of the daily transactions in a single day. Since this project launched, it was spamming so many hundreds of thousands of transactions used for mining every single day that the Solana network became completely congested and generated a greater peak load of mainnet traffic than any smart contract in blockchain history. If you've been using Solana in the past couple of weeks or so, some issues have been ironed out now, but you may have been privy of this, you may have experienced the ping time go up to about 100% and transactions were just not landing on Solana. OR is one of the main reasons why. OR helped identify a bunch of bugs in the Solana network stack and even prompted Solana to upgrade to v1.17.31 in order to increase their peak load. So when more decentralized applications get built on top of it in the future, it won't hit this 100% ping rate again. To be clear, it's not OR's fault that Solana was congested. It's just that hundreds of thousands of people wanted to mine OR, and the Solana network needs to be sufficient enough for hundreds of thousands of dApps to be built on top of it, and for all of them to run in a seamless manner. So OR helped identify some bugs in the Solana network, and it's since been improved. We'll discuss why in a second, but at this moment in time, OR has paused its mining in anticipation of V2. Since they've paused mining and Solana has updated to v1.17.31, some of the biggest developers in the Solana ecosystem actually want OR to resume mining so they can test the efficiency of the network after the changes. So OR is not only a very interesting project which has just come out of a hackathon providing the first proof of work contract on the Solana blockchain, but it's also providing value to the Solana network and it's ironing out some of the bugs in the ecosystem. Now, before we talk about why they've paused mining at this moment in time, let's first quickly dive into the tokenomics. Like we discussed, even though OR is built on top of Solana, OR is a proof of work mechanism that runs on Solana. That means that you need to use your computing power to mine these tokens. How this works is you head over to or.supply, you have an account over on the website, and you can export your private key to make sure that you can log back in. Once you fund your wallet with a small amount of Solana for gas fees to be mining, then you can begin mining OR. You simply click down on the bottom right and click resume mining, and as you can see, it will be searching for a valid hash and you'll be mining OR. Now you can increase your priority fee, so when Solana's busy you have a greater chance of transactions being accepted. You do this by just coming over here and increasing the micro lamp ports. Micro lamp ports are basically the smallest divisible fraction that Solana can be devised into. So for example, for Bitcoin, it's devised into Satoshis. For Solana, it's micro lamp ports. Now it's important to note that OR has no max supply. At this moment in time, the OR supply grows at a linear rate of 1 OR per minute. However, we will come back to this point. It will take approximately 40 years for the total supply of OR to reach 21 million tokens, and approximately 42 million tokens will be mined in an average human lifetime. Now let's talk about the distribution of holdings. Like we said, there's basically about 20,000 OR in supply. However, there's 52,980 holders. And if we're coming over to the supply and holder distribution, you can see most of the OR holders hold less than 1 OR. In fact, there's only 1,745 holders who hold more than 1 OR. There's only 307 holders who own more than 10 OR, and there's only 21 holders who hold more than 100 OR, and no one holds more than 1,000 OR. So the distribution of OR holders is very, very nice, with most holders holding less than a single ore. Now, like we said earlier, mining has temporarily been paused on ore, which is why you're seeing mining transactions go to zero. And I'll explain why in just one second. But let's first of all talk about the inflation, and that's going to tie into why ore is currently paused for mining. The last snapshot of ore's daily inflation rate was captured at 7.28%. Now bear in mind, this is because ore is only 2 weeks old and there is barely any ore in supply. Let me give you a basic example. Let's say if there's only 1 ore in circulation and 100 ore get made on the first day, then its daily inflation rate has just done 100x. Now let's say on the second day, there's 100 ore in circulation, and once again, you have another 100 ore come into circulation. The daily inflation rate has gone from 100x to only 2x. And then on day 3, there's 200 ore in supply, and another 100 get added to circulation in that day. The supply has gone from 200 to 300, and that's only a 50% increase. So you get my drift. 2 weeks later, we come down to this daily inflation rate, 7.28%. And in the weeks to come, this is going to drop. And there's recently been a difficulty adjustment, which is going to crush the daily inflation rate and make it drop like a rock. And this is where we come back to the initial point of the ore tokenomics. The ore supply grows at a linear rate of 1 ore per minute. At least it did. That was before ore proposed a 32x difficulty increase. So how does this happen? Ore basically has a Discord. They have an announcements tab and they have a governance tab where you can vote on different proposals. The first proposal launched was to increase the difficulty by 4x. That went through, and then we had proposal 2, which was a 32x in difficulty. Now, almost immediately after the 32x difficulty came out, ore mining had paused, and that's so ore could focus on the development of V2. The original V1 contract for ore is going to be exchangeable for the V2 contract at a 1-to-1 rate. And this new contract is also going to include the 32x difficulty adjustment. There's 3 main reasons why V2 is being developed right now. That's to fix any asymmetries in the market, making sure that miners are given equal opportunities. This is also to provide a structural incentive to hold the tokens. Miners who hold ore should receive an advantage when mining. And they're also going to work on some of the difficulty changes. These haven't been 100% decisively figured out at this moment in time, so I'll have to keep you updated. And subsequently, the ore tokenomics have not updated with this information. So when ore mining resumes, the daily inflation rate was already going to drop in the weeks to come. However, with the 32x difficulty adjustment, this should massively be a game changer for the inflation rate. If you want to be part of the future proposals, I'll leave an invite to their Discord down below. How this works is they basically post the proposals, and then you can come over to apps.realm and vote on the proposal. And now this leads us to the price action. If we first off start on the hourly time frame, you can see round about here at $90 was when the difficulty adjustment was announced. It had a massive run up to the upside, coming up to almost $500, and then mining was paused. Now here's the ore chart on the 4-hour time frame, a little bit more zoomed out. Because this is proof of work and because of the inflation rate, for the first 24 hours there was a tiny supply of ore, and one coin went all the way up to $4,350. Of course, over that time the inflation rate did kind of push the price to the downside. However, zooming in, you can see the resurgence of the price based on the difficulty adjustments. The community voted on a 4x and then a 32x increase in the difficulty, which should massively improve the supply side economics. Keeping the demand the same, of course, this means the price should move higher. And this is why we've seen over a 5x return from low to high since this announcement has come out. However, this makes coming up with a concrete price for the future a tiny bit difficult for ore. That's because the coin is still relatively new, and the inflation rate can't be fully calculated until the 32x upgrade starts to resume when V2 comes out. It took approximately 14 days to mine the first 20,000 ore supply. If the difficulty adjustment is going to make mining 32 times harder, then it may mean it will take 448 days for the supply of ore to increase from 20,000 to 40,000. Bear in mind, this is a very, very rough estimate, and things are likely to change when V2 comes out and when future governance proposals come out, but we're going to work with this as an estimate. The market cap is currently sitting at 5.8 million. Let's call it 6 million while the price is at $300. I'm going to assume the bull run is going to continue to early 2025, which means we've got about a year of price action to the upside. So if we assume a price based on the current market cap with the current supply, what we'll do after that is assume a 2x in the supply in the next year, and then we'll simply divide the price by 2. So, if OR continues to work with Solana developers, it continues to get traction, and it continues to build on its existing product, website, and make the mining interface a little bit nicer than what it currently is. Bear in mind, at this moment in time, they do have an app for Mac, and they are coming out with an app for Windows, so I think the interface and everything could become much more sleek. Anyway, if they continue to work on their product, I do not think it is out of the realm of possibilities that OR could go up to a 500 million market cap in a really, really bullish scenario. That is about 100x from where we are at this moment in time. That would put the price of OR at 30,000. However, remember, if this happens in 1 year's time and we're looking at the supply of OR increasing from 20,000 to 40,000 in the next year, based on no further governance proposals, that would mean instead of OR being priced at 30,000, OR would be priced at $15,000 per coin. And that's if the bull run takes a year to reach its top. If OR goes on a rally in the next 6 months, and the supply increases from only 20,000 to 30,000, then the price may be higher. But anyway, round about 15 to 20,000 is where kind of I imagine the top of this would be. And that's in a most bullish scenario. At a market cap of 250 million with similar results taking a year's time, that could place OR at $7,500. At a rather conservative $100 million market cap, bear in mind this previously hit a 40 million market cap, that would be a 17x, sending the price of OR up to $5,100. Either way, there's tons of meme coins, there's tons of silly projects, there's tons of garbage products, garbage dApps, and nonsense built on top of Solana, which has reached a much higher market cap than 100 million. So if OR is truly building a interesting proof of work product on Solana, the first of its kind, it continues to work with Solana developers to improve the blockchain, and it works on its products and services and builds a larger community, then I do really think that OR could potentially hit all of these price targets from $5,000, $10,000 to $15,000 at the top of its peak. Either way, do your own research. With something like this, with a proof of work being built on top of Solana, I think this is kind of one of those niches which is either going to go to zero or it's going to go to a much, much higher price. I don't think there'll be much in between. Even if you're just looking at this for a short-term trade, after the 32x difficulty resumes on V2, I definitely think OR is at a very, very low market cap right now, considering what it could accomplish. And just a side note, they've already picked up a nice following and they are followed by the co-founder of Solana already. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. I've mentioned OR briefly in some of my recent videos, so I thought I'd make a dedicated video and just talk about why I'm interested in it. That's all I've got for today. While we're wrapping up the video, I will also plug 2 extra investments, which I think are personally a really good idea. Number 1, that's going to be the Solana Chapter 2 mobile. I pre-ordered mine when it originally came out, and I've already got about $600 worth of airdrops. So if you're considering getting the Chapter 2, or you haven't already, then be sure to check out my referral code in the description down below. Another project which I'll make a dedicated video on soon is going to be Grass, where you can mine these points on your computer. You can do this for completely free, earn points, they'll convert to tokens, and you'll gain money. That's all I've got for this video. If you enjoyed, smash like on the way out. See you in the next one. Peace.